I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Today, we have Sebastian Solar. He is Commerce Bank's Houston Market President. He's got a lot of great things to tell us about the bank and what's going on there. Welcome, Sebastian.
Great to be with you, Dr. Murillo.
Thank you so much. I still remember 6 years ago going out to the big grand opening, packed house, and you guys had a lot of things that you guys wanted to do that would fast forward to be able to say you guys have been a success. So what do you attribute the success to?
Well, first off, thanks again for having us with you, and thank you for all that you're doing for the Houston community. We're so pleased and proud to be partners of the Chamber. And 6 years, we've accomplished a lot. But I think probably the greatest accomplishment is the team that we've been able to put together. And, we're on a mission to reset expectations for what great banking is. And I'm happy to share more about that with you. But the last 5 years, we've really been focused on bringing our brand of commercial banking to market. And as we look ahead, we now have a turnkey suite of every tool and solution that Commerce offers. We have specialists on the ground, and we find that that is a winning model. And then phase two is bringing our wealth management practice to town. So we're very excited about that.
Well, and along with a great team, you've talked about services to us before. Tell us more. What are some of the services that make you all the bank to go to?
Yeah. Well, let me ask you something, Dr. Murillo. When someone says banker or a bank, what do you think about? What are the services that a bank provides?
Services, deposits, withdrawals, treasury, consulting, access.
You're hitting on all of them. And I think the most frequent response that we get is loans and deposits, right? I go to a bank for a loan when I need a loan. I go to a bank when I need to make a deposit. But outside of that, the expectations can vary, right? And I think we need to think about how we think about bankers. And many bankers think of themselves as lenders. And there's that old expression, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? And for us, we identify differently. And I use the word identify because I think that helps you set expectations as to what success looks like. And so if you're just a lender and I go talk to Dr. Murillo and I say, do you need a loan? And she says, yes. Well, then I've done my job for Dr. Murillo in the chamber. But if you identify as what we call boardroom bankers, you view yourself as an extension of that business's leadership team. And so a loan might not be what they need. They might need a certain technology. They might be looking at automation. They might need a lead on an insurance provider. They might want a business partner. And when you're a boardroom banker, you're thinking differently about that. So those are kind of unique nuances. But I'll give you another example. If I were giving you a 2.5% loan and competition was giving you a 3% loan, who would you go with?
It would depend on the service, access, and a strategy that would best look at my overall portfolio and not just that 5% difference.
This is why you are who you are, Dr. Murillo. I think many folks would say, well, if it's cheaper on the loan, that sounds great. Well, even a $10 million loan at 0.5% cheaper, most people would go with the 0.5% cheaper because that's what they think a bank does, is they're good for lending. But that's $50,000 of savings. I'll give you an example. One of our solutions is what we call a virtual payment solution. And this changes the way that customers pay from check to a virtual card solution. In the last 30 days, on average, we have saved anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000. And I say saved, made companies $100,000 to $200,000 just by changing the way they pay their vendors. So you might say, man, I'm saving 0.5% over here for $50,000, but we can come in without changing your existing banking relationship, just changing the way that you pay your vendors and save you considerable dollars every year. And when I say save, really what I mean is cash back, not unlike what we get on our corporate credit cards. So that virtual payment solution is an area that we're really proud of, and it differentiates us across the national banks. In many cases, we're finding 10 to 15 times what our competitors are finding in that. So that's the difference between $200,000 and $20,000.
Well, very important. And one more question before we wrap up. So what's next for Commerce Bank, Sebastian?
Yeah, well, we are in the fortunate position to have had a really great response to our brand of banking. So we'll be doubling our footprint here in Houston over the next 6 months. And with that, it'll put us in a better position to add more bankers to the team, to serve more businesses. But what won't change, Dr. Murillo, I think is equally important, is our commitment to service. And, you know, I think many Houstonians have seen insurance premiums rise on your home, on your business. And I think about great bankers like great insurance. And if you don't have a great banker with their cell phone number, their direct line, you can reach, you're effectively operating your business uninsured. Because when something goes wrong, you need bankers that respond. And what we have found anecdotally is in many cases, we have 2 times the number of service personnel to our competitors. And so we can help your business grow, but in times like these, when you need us, we're going to be there. And so we're appreciative of all the support that we've gotten from the Houston business community, certainly that of the chamber, and look forward to continuing on that legacy.
Well, Sebastian, thank you for your leadership. And in a very short period of time, you and the team have certainly made a name for yourselves as the place to go. So I appreciate it and appreciate the investment in the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Look forward to seeing you very soon.
Appreciate you, Dr. Murillo. Have a great one.
Thanks a bunch. Goodbye. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy. Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. It's a great honor to have State Representative Ana Hernandez joining us today. We met when she was just a young student at the University of Houston, and it's been extraordinarily a delight to see her grow in her career, an attorney, as a mom, as a leader in our community, highly regarded and respected as a state representative, and on so many very influential committees in Austin, Texas. Representative Hernandez, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Murillo. I appreciate the invitation to join you today.
Absolutely. Well, you and your colleagues, our elected officials, have been out pounding those streets and making phone calls to make sure that our community in Houston and Harris County got their electricity, got food, power. Talk to us a little bit about what this means in terms of you going to Austin in January again. What message will you be conveying to the governor and your colleagues as it relates to making sure that Houston and Harris County have resources when the next disaster comes?
As state legislators, we are representing our communities, and it's important that as we go to Austin, that we advocate that our communities all have resources available to them, especially when an unexpected weather event occurs, as is what happened last week. That was definitely an unexpected weather event. We want to make sure that resources are available and at the community's disposal in a minute's notice, because it is needed to save lives. People depend on power, especially those that have medical needs, that their power be on. It's important for us to have those resources available for everyone.
Tell us about the committees you've been assigned to.
Oh, yes. So I am vice chair of the State Affairs Committee, and our purview, we also look at our power grid. And that is something that has been discussed a lot in the last few sessions to make sure, how do we make sure that our grid is resilient and reliable? And we want to make sure that people feel comfortable that whenever they need power, that it will be available. Of course, we have these weather events, as what happened last week, where power lines, transmission towers were damaged by the winds of the storm. But apart from that, from weather events, to make sure that we have a strong and resilient power grid throughout the state of Texas. And we are having a committee hearing coming up in a few weeks. As we prepare for the next legislative session, there will be several committee hearings where we will hear from the different stakeholders to make sure that we are doing everything we need to make sure that the power stays on.
What other committee are you serving on?
The other committee in which I serve is the Licensing and Administrative Procedures. So that committee deals with our occupational license. In the state of Texas, there are over 200 occupational licenses. If you think about realtors, if you think about cosmetology, real estate, plumbers, every occupational license. So there are over 200 of those. And so we hear from those industries to see what are the barriers for entry into those professions. And we want to make sure that we have sufficient workforce and that we have that pipeline and there aren't any barriers to make sure that those positions are filled, because that is important for our state's economy. We want people working and we want to make sure that we have a strong economy.
So the big topic in Houston, of course, is HISD. Tell us about the conversation you would like to have upon returning to Austin, Texas, with the governor and anyone else who might listen to you.
Last week, there was a very concerning news report that came out that indicated that perhaps some of our state public funds, funds for our public schools, were being sent out of state to Colorado to pay debts for charter schools in Colorado. And that is something extremely concerning, given the fact that, for instance, here at HISD, they are making budget cuts. And so those dollars should not be going out of state. Those dollars should be used for our students here at HISD. We have seen a lot of displeasure among the parents, among teachers, people in the education community on what's happening at HISD. And I shared that belief with them, that we are not going down the right path with respect to our local school district, that we are not doing right by our children and providing them the best education that they can receive. And so that's definitely something that will be discussed in the next legislative session to make sure that our public school dollars stay in the state of Texas, and those are going into our neighborhood schools to make sure that every child has access to a quality education.
Representative, is there anything else that's high on your agenda that you'd like to share with us?
I just want to encourage our community to get involved. There are lots of different opportunities for you to get involved, whether it's at the local level, which is whether it's at the school board or whether the state legislature or in federal government. There are laws that are being passed that impact you and your family, and you need to be engaged in that conversation. And if you don't know where to start by reaching out to the chamber or reach out to my office. And we want more people involved, because that is how we're going to make sure that our community thrives and that everybody has that opportunity to succeed.
Well, we thank you for all that you and all of your colleagues do in Austin every day, not just when you're in session. We know it's a big sacrifice to you and your families. We are most appreciative. I'd also like to suggest to our entrepreneurs who are out there or individuals in the Houston-Harris County region, visit SBA.gov. There are loans available with as little as 4% in terms of paying back, and you have over 30 years to pay back. There's also programs, if you get denied, that you can reapply. You can go to centers in person where they'll sit down and walk you through the process, or you can go out online. There are resources available. Please take advantage of them. And again, Representative Hernandez, we wish you a great legislative session, and please know the Houston Hispanic Chamber is here to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Murillo.
Have a great day.
Gosh, what a great organization, what great leadership from Dr. Murillo. You always want to go where the future is, and this is where the future is. And when you look at this people, the quality of the production, everything about this organization and the leadership, this is what you want to be a part of.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interests of the Hispanic business community. Our three legislative priorities include DACA, NAFTA, and census. Collectively, the economic impact of these three legislative priorities is $24.8 billion in the greater Houston region. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce announced a wide-ranging partnership with the City of Houston ahead of the pivotal 2020 U.S. Census to increase engagement and broaden awareness. We have utilized our media platform, which includes CBS, Intercom, Univision, KHOU 11, and the Q to disseminate facts and figures. Additionally, the national media has taken notice of our chamber and has featured us on Bloomberg, CNN, The Washington Post, NPR, Money Week, to name a few, in an effort to educate and emphasize our role as the leader of Houston's new majority. We prepared op-eds, wrote white papers, held press conferences, presented on local and national panels.
NAFTA, as you know, your chamber once again has taken the lead. The numbers don't lie.
This is about jobs economic impact. We know that a trade between the U.S. and Mexico is over $180 billion as it relates to Texas.
We celebrate the fact that the United States Supreme Court has thrown out that census question that was, are you a U.S. citizen?
It was also a banner year for the Chamber's annual initiatives, groundbreaking and data-focused Hispanic Impact Summits, the Women's Leadership Conference and Business Expo, Health, Innovation, and Technology Summit, our annual Luncheon and Business Expo, the largest in Houston, as well as our elected officials reception, annual awards gala. We graduated emerging leaders. The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce remains mission-focused.
And as go Hispanics, so goes Houston.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading regional advocate for the economic and civic interest of the Hispanic business community, the leader of Houston's new majority.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo, President and CEO of the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Happy to have our next guest. She's Juliet Stepet. She's the Executive Director of the Gulf Coast Workforce Board. Thank you so much for joining us, Juliet.
It's a pleasure, Dr. Murillo.
Well, you all do so much. I don't even know where to begin other than to say, tell us a little bit more about the role that you all play and some of the top things that you are charged with.
Yes, well, the Gulf Coast Workforce Board is one of 28 workforce boards across the state of Texas, and we provide funding for employers to be able to help find and folks in the community that might be able to serve as employees. We provide funding for various types of initiatives from apprenticeship program to on-the-job training, work-based learning. And for local residents, we help them find careers. We can connect them to jobs that are available in our system, or we can also do an assessment and determine whether they qualify for being eligible for our scholarships that we have at any of our eligible training providers in the region, and they can receive a scholarship for up to $12,000, which is dispersed $6,000 for 2 years in any one of our high skills, high growth targeted industries.
So if someone is interested in that, can you please tell us the website so we can make sure to have it up the whole time that you and I are talking again, because this organization does so much, Juliet. What's that website?
www.wrksolutions.com.
One more time.
www.wrksolutions.com.
So if you are looking for employment, you are seeking training in an area that is an area where there are absolutely jobs, this is the place to start. Go to that website, get more info. But I know you do so much more than that. So tell us a little bit more.
So we also provide childcare scholarships to folks that are eligible. We serve we're almost about 40,000 children and families being served with the childcare subsidy that we provide. So if a person is looking for work or going to training, this allows them an opportunity to have funding to support their childcare needs. We also have funding available for people that are that qualify to be able to get equipment and scrubs, uniforms, different types of supports like that. And additionally, we provide information to local employers and economic development councils about labor market information, what's happening in the local economy. We have a regional economist, Parker Harvey, who regularly updates these reports, as well as Ron Borski. And so both of them are available for chambers and businesses to learn more about what's happening in terms of trends with high skill, high growth industries and just the general economy in this 13-county region.
And that's so important, Juliet. As you know, we definitely need more data. And that's why the Chamber has been hosting our data summit. And we're looking forward to partnering with you all because there has not been enough data specifically about our Houston area. And it helps when trying to make decisions on whether or not you want to come and live in Houston, start a business, or what the opportunities in fact are in Houston.
Absolutely. I'll give you one example. You know, we have the largest medical center in the world. And we also have a thriving biomanufacturing, stem cell, gene therapy, different types of opportunities and business growth in that region. When those types of developments happen in our region, the local community colleges and universities are also connectors for residents to be able to learn about those opportunities, reach out, potentially get one of our scholarships and start that particular type of training. So we're always looking for what's high skill, high growth, but our board has been very strong in saying that we now want to be able to put up and coming industries in our system as well. So that way we are not just going to be providing the skills and needs of what's happening today, but also forecasting the needs of what's going on in the future as well.
So we know there's still a lot of people, especially now school is out. We have people looking for part-time, full-time work. Would there be a place for them to go to seek current job opportunities, or is it more tied to the training than the job?
Oh, we've got opportunities available and work in Texas. So we have they can either come to our office and they can schedule an online appointment if they have some challenges with transportation. So we both have in-person and virtual opportunities. And if you visit our website, you can also learn about the various job fairs that we have regularly. We're starting to have those in the community with various partners. For instance, last week we hosted one at San Jacinto College, and last month we hosted one at Rural Harvest Community Church. So we know that sometimes it's hard for people to come to us. So the board now wants us to come to the people. So we are very excited to be able to work with community partners, chambers of commerce, different persons that are interested to partner in getting a job fair or a career exploration opportunity available in the community.
So you talked about some of the programs, but tell us a little bit more about these programs and the time frame for some of these that are your biggest, I don't want to say challenges, but biggest opportunities.
Yeah, so, I think the thing is we have been very intentional in moving into the space of saying that the Gulf Coast Workforce Board wants to serve as a convener and a connector. So we are partnering with persons in of course, the early childhood education space in place of our tiniest residents and getting them ready for school. Then we work with the K through 12 system in helping them develop their understanding and connections for their career technology education programs. And then we're working with the post-secondary system to connect them to employers. And so you see, we serve various stages, but what our focus is helping people with lifelong learning. And so it's just to make sure that people know about the various resources that exist for them to get upskilled, but also the different types of companies that exist in our community that are looking for great folks in this region to serve in their business.
Well, Juliet, it is a monumental task that you and your board are focused on, but I know that this is a great city with a lot of contributors and collaborators. And this is why the Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce has met with you. We want to continue to collaborate and find ways to provide these resources to individuals who may not know about the great work that you all are doing, because we want Houston to be strong. We want to train people for today and the future. So for that and much more, we say thank you, Juliet.
Thank you so much. Thank you to everything that the Houston Hispanic Chamber does for our community.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.
The Houston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is the leading advocate for the Hispanic business community. In Houston, we represent over $54 billion per year in consumer spending. Our thanks to our board and staff for making sure we elevate business and advocate for a stronger economy.
Hello, I'm Dr. Laura Murillo. So happy to have Deputy Director for Annie's List Training and Engagement. That is Isabel Longoria. Welcome.
Excited to be here as always.
Well, very important work. Many people are very familiar with Annie's List, others are not. So let's start with, what is the mission of Annie's List?
Absolutely. Annie's List has been around for 20 years, helping get women elected to the Texas House and Senate. And a couple of years ago, we started a 501c4, the Training and Engagement Fund, to help leaders, regardless of your race, gender, party, et cetera, get trained to be the next leaders of Texas.
So I want to emphasize, it doesn't matter which party. You guys want to train anyone that's interested that comes your way, male or female or female?
Male or female, regardless of race or where you live. We are a progressive organization, so as long as you stand for values regarding equality, et cetera, we don't care what your party is, as long as you're going to help folks.
Sounds great. So a lot of people, I think, at some point in their lives, contemplate this. You have resources for them. Give me an example. If someone shows up or goes online, what are some of the opportunities they have in terms of training?
We're looking for folks, to your point, who want to do everything run from school board, right, where your kids are, to make it better, to city council in a big city or small city. And what you can come to us for is we offer 101 courses, 3-hour courses. We do them virtually in the evening for our working parents who need to put the kids to sleep and then do it online and Zoom with us. Or we offer them in person around the state. Laredo, Lubbock, El Paso, Austin, San Antonio, Corpus, Houston. I travel at least twice a month, and we'll give you for 3 hours. If you need to run a race, if you don't know what it means to talk about a universe or block walking or a win number, we break it all down for you so that you can leave there with your checklist and say, I'm ready to file for office, open my bank account, and get started.
So a lot of people may also wonder whether or not they're qualified. And I've talked to some very qualified people who say they've never done X or Y. And I said, well, guess what? The person in that office has never done it either. So what do you say to people who may be doubting themselves?
I say it's really important to be passionate. Think first about what you want in an elected official. We all learn on the job, but you want someone who cares, who at least is knowledgeable. If you're running for city council, I recommend going to at least one city council meeting, seeing how it works. But we want people who are passionate, who care about their communities, who have volunteered before, whether that's PTA or something else, people who get it. To your point, you can learn the mechanisms later, the Roberts Rules of Order, all that good stuff. But if you don't care about your community first, that's not something I can teach you.
Well, what else in your experience is something you'd like to share with folks who may be considering this, and that how does it connect with the work that you're doing today?
I think, if you wanted to go a step above, it's serving and volunteering with organizations like the Houston Chamber of Commerce, right, who develop young leaders as well, going through those other programs, your local YMCAs, for example, or your PTAs. It's not just about service, but getting connected to people. Learn how to meet people. Keep those phone numbers so they can be your volunteers or donors in the future. Build your network. That will make you so much more successful for running for office. If you're running for office and that's the first time you're talking to your neighbor, you're going to be a little late to the game.
The other thing is preparing in advance, knowing that they're going to look at your address. Are you in the area that you're representing? What are some other things that one should do before they get out there and announce they're ready to do this? What are some other tips that the individual should take care of prior to that announcement?
Well, we definitely say look at your social media. It's okay to have, a margarita by the pool, a picture of that. But if there is something that you're worried about from your past, or maybe some photos that you wouldn't want on the front page of the New York Times, take time now to clean up your social media and really think, what's the image you want to project, and what is, some events you could go out to that show your values. The next thing is getting your contacts in order. I say one of the best things to prepare is create a holiday card list. So that gives you an opportunity to get people's phone numbers, addresses, keep your information updated so that when you're ready to use it for political purposes, it's there. That takes maybe hours, sometimes weeks. And also get a website, get your headshots, right? Start thinking about buying that nice suit, start thinking about practicing public speaking, all of those little steps that prepare you once you become an elected official.
Make sure you've paid your taxes.
Paid your taxes, yes. No outstanding fines, no outstanding taxes or anything like that. Yeah, make sure you're above the law. And we also say, make sure you're a voter. If you're asking people to vote for you and you've never voted, it's different if you're a first-time citizen. But if you've been around for 20 years and you've never voted, might be time to start participating civically if you expect others to follow you.
Very great advice. And I would really look forward to you visiting with our Business Institute and our emerging leaders with some of these tips, because I believe that there are so many individuals that want to get involved that may not be thinking that, as you mentioned, it could be the school board seats in Spring Branch, and Houston is sprawling. So there's a lot of opportunities for people to get started, and certainly sounds like you all have the resources, which are at no cost to the participants, correct?
Low to no cost. Our virtual trainings are $10. It's really more of a donation to us. Our in-persons are about $30, and you get breakfast and lunch and all the materials. And you can visit us at annieslist.com to see our future trainings. And we just say, take the first step with us. We'll get you the rest of the way.
Well, Isabel, thanks for all you do. And we're so happy that you are there, for all of the work that Annie's List does to make sure that we are represented with the right people. Thank you so much, and we'll see you real soon.
Thank you, Laura.